The 6-foot guard from West Des Moines, Iowa, the reigning WNBA Rookie of the Year and already considered one of the greatest of all time, number 22, Caitlin Clark. Her name alone commands attention, and her impact on the game is undeniable. But at the same time, Aja Wilson, a WNBA champion and league MVP, is facing a moment that should have been a historic celebration of her career, a jersey retirement at South Carolina. Instead of basking in the honor, Wilson finds herself
power to make everybody around her better. And the thing I'd like to close with, if you didn't know, to celebrate this wonderful moment, she gave $22,000 to 4 different entities in this town to share her success and to say thank you.
overshadowed, frustrated, and perhaps even resentful, not because she doesn't deserve recognition, but because Clark's presence in the basketball world is simply too massive to ignore. Wilson's jersey retirement should have been a monumental event, a night filled with appreciation for everything she has accomplished in college and the WNBA. But while South Carolina...
So you were 5 years old when you decided on number 22, as the story goes. If we were to tell that 5-year-old what today was going to be, what would she have said?
Honestly, I'm very overwhelmed. This has been absolutely incredible. Just being here and feeling this energy again, there's really no place like this place, and I truly mean that. And it's special for me, it's special for my family, and a lot of my former teammates are back here, former coaches, the coaching staff, and some of my teammates that are still on the team. But, I'm just very lucky and grateful and very fortunate. At 5 years old, you don't dream of something like this. So, it comes with a lot of hard work and a lot of really good people that have helped me get here.
The fans certainly respect her. The sheer level of excitement surrounding the ceremony falls far short of what's happening in Iowa. The numbers don't lie. Wilson's tickets are going for as little as $16, and even at that price, empty seats remain. Meanwhile, Clark's jersey retirement has fans scrambling for tickets, with some willing to shell out over a... $11,000 just to witness the occasion. The difference is staggering. But the real question is Wilson's frustration justified? Or is this simply a case of jealousy? Wilson isn't just upset about the event itself, she's upset about what it represents. She sees the reality. She has worked tirelessly for years, proving herself on the WNBA stage, winning championships, MVP awards, and becoming one of the league's most dominant forces. She has done everything right, yet somehow her moment isn't generating the same kind of buzz. Clark, on the other hand, is still in college, yet she's already one of the most marketable and talked about players in the history of women's basketball. That reality stings. The contrast between the two celebrations highlights a bigger issue, one that goes beyond stats, accolades, or even individual talent. It's about connection. It's about how an athlete resonates with the public. Clark has tapped into something special, an emotional, almost cult-like following that transcends basketball. She plays with swagger, engages with fans in a way that feels personal, and creates moments that people remember. She is a walking highlight reel, a storyline in herself. Every shot she takes, every reaction she has, every fiery exchange on the court only fuels the spectacle. Wilson, for all her greatness, hasn't built that same level of intrigue. She is respected, no doubt, but she doesn't generate the same level of investment from the casual sports fan. Her dominance on the court hasn't translated into superstardom in the way Clark's has. And that's why, on what should have been a night of celebration, she finds herself watching as Clark once again steals the spotlight. But here's the hard truth. Clark's rise isn't an accident. It's not just about being in the right place at the right time. She has spent years crafting her brand, engaging with the public, and making herself into a figure that people want to rally around. Wilson had the same opportunities, but she didn't capitalize on them in the same way. Now, she's facing the consequences of that. This isn't to say Wilson's career is any less remarkable. She is still one of the greatest to ever play the game, and her impact on the WNBA is undeniable. But right now, Clark is the bigger star, and that's the reality Wilson has to confront. Instead of dwelling on the frustration, Wilson should be asking herself the tough questions. How can she elevate her presence beyond just basketball? How can she build an emotional connection with fans the way Clark has? Because at the end of the day, dominance alone doesn't make history. Captivating personalities do. Clark understands this. Wilson, so far, does not. And until she does, moments like this will continue to feel bittersweet. From the very beginning, Aja Wilson set out to do everything she could to be the last one standing, the one hoisting the trophies, the one cementing her name in history. And in many ways, she accomplished exactly that. She's a multiple-time WNBA MVP, a champion, an Olympic gold medalist, and even has a statue in her honor at South Carolina, something most athletes never receive in their lifetime. By every metric, she has earned her place as one of the most dominant players in women's basketball. And yet, when it comes to the excitement surrounding her jersey retirement, the numbers tell a different story. The reality is clear. The overwhelming public enthusiasm just isn't there. Ticket prices for her ceremony are shockingly low, some as cheap as $16, and even at that price, seats remain empty. Meanwhile, in Iowa, Caitlin Clark's jersey retirement has become a spectacle, with fans willing to spend upwards of $11,000 just to be in the building. The contrast is glaring. Wilson could blame the timing. She could argue that it's unfair for her retirement to happen at the same time as Clark's, or she could insist that the media is giving Clark more attention than she deserves. But none of those explanations change the core truth of the situation. Caitlin Clark is the bigger star right now, and Wilson is struggling to come to terms with that reality. This isn't a debate about WNBA success versus college success. It isn't about who has won more awards or who has the better resume. It's about influence, about who is moving the needle in women's basketball today. And right now, that person is Clark. She is the driving force behind the sport's growing popularity, while Wilson, despite her incredible accomplishments, has not generated the